Yeah. Okay. Good morning. Okay. Yay. So how does everyone feel? Good?
Pretty good.
Good.
Is anybody on here devastated like right now and like, oh, this sucks. I want to quit tomorrow?
No.
No? Good. Good. That's good. I'm not, but I'm like, I haven't measured. But either way, I wouldn't want to quit tomorrow. So like I was saying before, I know that some of you guys are in the coach test group. On here, I think the only one I see is Brienne. But so most of you don't have access to these daily videos that we're getting with Autumn at the same time, which is really, really, really cool because like I haven't been on them live. There's 40,000 coaches in there. So I don't normally like groups like that anyway. They're too big. But since this is new and we also have the nutritionist in there, I wanted to be in this one for you guys, for my coaching. So I can get the knowledge that anything they share, anything that's resonating with people. I think that a lot of the issues that come up in there that you see over and over again are probably things that a lot of you guys might be thinking too. So it's kind of helpful in that respect. I kind of did a big rant post in there last night. Did you see? Did anyone else see it yet?
Oh, there's comments on it.
Is there? Did anyone get mad at me yet?
Oh, I didn't read them all. Mostly it was like kind of like preach. You got it.
Okay. I just was like so frustrated. It was like 2 a.m. So I slept like 3 hours. So now here I am with you. But before I went to bed, I was just like, so I was thinking I could read it to you guys. Maybe, but I would have to be able to find it. But it's more for people who are whining. So let me tell you what I'm seeing a lot of in that group. I'm seeing people showing pictures of like their results. Like I see myself in the mirror, and granted, I'm just like anybody else. Like I know Brienne, when she posted her, like I think week 0 and week 2 pictures, was like, not much change. And I was like, are you kidding? Like I see it, but we don't see it when we look at our own stuff. So that's why we have this group. So you can post a side by side, or if you don't want to, or you don't know how to make one, send them to me. I make them in like that fast. I'm like a pro now. And I'll make one for you. And then like put it in the group, let people support you and give you feedback. And I don't think anyone in our group's going to be mean to you and be like, whoa, what you've been doing, eating ding dongs, like, but I also think that honest feedback is really valuable. Right. So you can say, like with Brienne, I saw it in her abdomen, like in the middle on the side view and on your butt and in your arms. And she's like, oh, not much change. But she wasn't like some of these people. Some of these people are like, oh, I've busted my ass and I'm not seeing anything. But it's there. They're just not seeing. And then they're telling you, they say, oh, I've lost 10 pounds. Excuse me. I've lost 10 pounds. The one I saw that set me off said, nothing drastic. I'm trying not to give up. And she said 9.7 pounds and 7.9 inches.
That's insane.
Okay. And
I'd
that's
be pretty
the
proud of
one.
that. What do you really want?
That was the one that like set me off, because I was like 9.7 pounds. That's 10 pounds. So then I went on this whole tirade about like losing 100 pounds. And it like I don't know. I can just read it to you guys.
Well,
I don't know if that's
really
boring or
safe
not.
amount to lose. Like you should only be losing about 2 pounds a week anyways, safely.
Right.
Otherwise, you're putting a lot of damage and stress on your heart.
2 to 3 pounds is a safe rate of weight loss. And if you have a lot to lose, I see this a lot with new clients, the 21-day fix that are maybe have 50 or more pounds to lose. Or if you've been eating really, really crappy before, that initial shock, your body can really respond to it well. So sometimes those people have heavy detox symptoms too, but then they also are the ones that might drop 7, 10 pounds in the first round of 21-day fix, 12 pounds, and they're like blown away. And like she talks about a lot in our group, if you had that, if you are one of these people that are posting these, what I find discouraging pictures where they've lost like 20 pounds in the first month, to me, I'm like, God, stop it. Cause that's just so unrealistic. And you know what? Those same people probably won't change weight at all the next 2 months, even though their body will still be changing. They probably won't see much change on the scale, and they're going to be like discouraged or upset or whatever. So, and then I'll have to see all those whining posts. Oh yeah. This is what Brianne's talking about. Can you guys see my screen? So there's a lot of those comments. Preach. So I haven't read like the rest of Preach On, Sister. So I posted the picture from my magazine thing. And here's what I wrote. And I'll just read it for you really quick. And then that way it's done with. So I said, I don't know what the hell is wrong with some of you people. That's a good way to start and make friends, right? So clearly I'm not in there to recruit other people to join my team because I would feel all nicer. No, I'm just like, I just said, let me start by saying as of right now, I don't know my results. I wrote this last night, like 2 a.m. I weigh in with my team in the morning and measure, etc. So don't think that this is just about comparison or anything else. But seriously, I have read so many posts today saying things like, I don't have any results, when you do. I read one that said, my results aren't that great or drastic, and the person lost 10 freaking pounds in 4 weeks. Do you not think that's awesome? People ask me all the time how long it took me to lose my 100 pounds. People always say that to me. They'll say, oh, how long did that take you? It took a little under a year. And many, many weeks, I lost absolutely nothing. Many weeks, I went up a few pounds as my body adjusted. And I'm not really sure because I weighed in on day 1, 30, and 60, and so on, when my damn calendar told me to. And I think that that was easier for me in the beginning, let me just say, than it is now. Because in the beginning, I barely had like the drive to even start this. So the fact that I was even doing the workout the next day, I was like, drag myself to the calendar, see what's next, spend an hour convincing myself to do it, and then do it. And then one day on the calendar, it says, do the fit test, weigh and measure in insanity. I'm like, okay. And it has you do it on 15th, and then the 30th you measure, and then the 45th day you do the fit test. You do it every 2 weeks. So I was able to see, I do love that. And I wish every program had that. Like, wow, I could do tuck jumps. And last week I did 4, and this week I did 23, you know, so there was these huge gains I was making doing the fit test every 2 weeks, which was kind of incredible to me because in the beginning I couldn't do nearly anything. Anyway, I said, so when my calendar told me to, after I lost my 100 pounds, I slowly put 20 pounds back over the next year back on, but I did that while going down from a size 12 to a size 9. And when I started this, I was a 24. So now I'm only 80 pounds down total for my journey as a whole, even though I'm smaller. But the point is that it took me a year. Let me ask you something. If you saw me then and now, and you knew I lost 100 pounds, and you asked me how long it took me to lose that 100 pounds, and I told you it took me 2 years, what would you think? Really? Like, would you think, damn, that sucks, 2 years? That's terrible. What'd you do? Sit around eating bonbons? I doubt it. I bet you'd be like, wow, that's awesome. You change your entire body, your parenting, your marriage, your outlook, your mindset, your confidence, your shape, your health, your kids' future, your life in just 2 years. Like, that's incredible to me. Except it didn't. It took less than 1. But did you know that if you only lost 5 pounds this month, and I say only, that at the end of 2 years, you would have lost 120 pounds? Isn't that insane when you look at it that way? So as far as my journey goes, no, I'm not done, and no, I'm not where I want to be ultimately. And if I weigh in tomorrow and I'm down 5 pounds and 5 inches, I would be freaking elated because things would be shifting and moving in the right direction. And because I feel good and I feel strong and proud and confident and powerful. But I would not come in here whining, talking about my results, talking my results down so 1,000 people can say, no, you look great. Or saying 5 or 10 pounds isn't anything great. In 4 weeks, are you freaking kidding me? If you want to hear people say you look great, come in here and post your picture and say, guess what? I lost 2 freaking pounds this month, and I will be the first one cheering you on. That's pretty much it.
I don't think that's bad.
No.
It's just kind of like a little, it's just frustrating to me because people are weighing all along and they're saying like, I don't have any results, but then in one picture they have no cut abs and the next picture they have abs. Like, which would you rather have? Like when you run into someone in public, are you going to say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? I want to show you my scale. Come here. No, you know, but you can be like, hey, look at this. I got abs, you know? So, I mean, like I can do that right there. But so I don't know. That's just my take on it. And so, yeah, so let's go through and talk about how we did. Who wants to share? Anybody?
1.2 pounds.
Yay! Did you do your inches already, Brianne, or your pictures?
Yeah, like 1.75.
Okay. That's good, right?
Yeah, going in the right direction.
I kind of
I
feel
like
like it's
roads that are a little quicker, but that's not the way.
I feel like I saw in your picture the other day, though, your face looked a lot different. So, I mean,
Yeah, I see
did
in
you
my
measure your face? Maybe go back and measure your face. But at least it's the right direction, right?
Yeah.
Christina, how'd you do?
I did good. So I started my measurements on January 1st when I was doing the A Little Obsessed program.
Uh-huh.
So my measurements are showing from that point to now.
Mhm.
And granted, I probably have a lot more to lose than some of you guys who've already been doing some of these programs because I'm coming off of baby number 3. 3 babies in 3.5 years because we're crazy. Oh, wow.
I just call that using your time wisely.
that was the I don't got much time left. I'm in my mid-30s. We got to bust this out. So overall from January 1st, I'm really excited. I'm down 12.5 pounds and 12 and quarter inches.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm pretty stoked about that. So, it's like, oh, look, I really was an athlete one time in my life. Look, there's proof. There's some muscles underneath that.
You're making them. That's what I always say. This is homemade.
No,
they're coming out of hiding. That's all.
Yeah, hibernation.
Well, I think part of it is like coming off of being like a college athlete and then, and doing what I do because I'm a physical therapist, but then having kids that close together, it was just,
it's hard on your body. It's hard on your body in like a crazy way for sure. And
you don't have like no time, you have lots of time, but you're using it for other things.
Yeah.
Besides.
But how many people of you guys, at least, I know I have, were totally self-conscious about your body in high school or college, and you were wishing you looked different sometimes, or maybe just like, oh, I wish I didn't look like this. And then 10, 20 years later, you're like, God, I wish I had that back and I knew then what I know now,
Yeah.
So I think in a way, when we're comparing ourselves to this like idea we had X amount of years ago, it's kind of unrealistic. Like for competing,
right?
You want to look. What people don't realize about competing is that picture in that bikini on stage is how you look that day for like 7 minutes. It's really like they time, when you're a serious competitor, they time every drink of water. They measure it down to the ounce. They're counting salt grams. They're eating things that are going to add glycogen to the muscles within an hour right before. Then they eat sugar 15 minutes before they get on stage. Then that shoves the sugar in the muscles so the muscles pop. And then the 15 minutes before you're on stage, you're in back like doing curls and push-ups to make all the blood flow to your muscles. And then lean out, suck the water out of the visceral areas around your organs and stuff. And then you achieve this look that's like, bam. And it's literally there for hours. And people have lost competitions because they timed it wrong. And by that night, they have a better six pack than they did that morning. Right. So then you see that as some ideal. And so a lot of people who go through competing get through this mindset of like, oh, I'm such a fat cow later. But it's because they want that image that they had at that moment. And so they get in this cycle where even if they are tired of competing, they want out, but they can't because they're too scared or they don't want to get too far away from that ideal. And while that's a great like goal and it's a cool sport and it's exciting, it's a cool physical achievement. It's very aesthetic. And those same people couldn't run down the block with you at the end of that show without passing out. And they couldn't, so there's it depends on what goal you have in your mind. And that's why I wanted you guys to really think about like what your goal is for the program and what your real like accomplishments you want to have are, because it just definitely you need to have different measuring tools than just pounds and inches, right? So Brittany, you want to share?
Yeah, so I'm
down 3 pounds.
Yay!
5 inches.
Nice.
Except my arms got bigger.
Yeah,
So I guess I got guns now.
that's good.
But yeah, I mean, like I've told you before, if I hadn't been taking pictures, I would have been totally discouraged because, you know, all the numbers would have been like, this is stupid, I'm not doing this. But in the pictures, I'm like, holy cow, my butt is lifted and my belly's sucked in and my back fat's going away. So
Yay, no back fat.
Yeah.
I hate back fat.
I know.
I have women send me messages a lot about that on my fitness page. Not a lot, but it's a common question. How do you get rid of this? I'm like, well, you got to pick up some weights or do some push-ups or do some pull downs and it's the same as everything else. You've got to do the moves that are going to accomplish that too, you know. Oh God. Excuse me, I just can't even handle it. I'm gonna go crazy wondering. I'm going crazy wondering where that tape measure is. So I'm gonna break open one of these backups. See, this is how they used to come in a little.
Yeah.
They come with our program, and we'd have one. So okay, and then let's see, Brianne and Cindy. I know you got something to say.
Yeah, so I would have to agree with Brittany about taking the pictures because, I mean, I lost 5 inches and 4 pounds. And at first I was like, oh, but then I look back at my pictures, I was like, holy crap. Like, my stomach is so freaking bloated. It looked like somebody just, like, put a whole bunch of air into it. And then in the beginning, and then this morning, I was like, wow, I feel good. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of energy now. I think I knew way back, like I let myself really go. And then now I'm like, okay, I'm slowly coming back. So
yeah, your dimples are going to be popping.
I've noticed I have to keep reminding myself and other people in different groups that we didn't get big overnight and we're not going to get thin overnight. So
and that's why you need to be coaching, Brittany, because
really
Brittany, you are basically coaching a whole bunch of people right now. And so my goal, so everyone knows, is to get her on this team as a coach.
I'm working. I gotta finish the 8 days first. I gotta work on myself first.
You know what's really funny is my coach told me just yesterday or 2 days ago when I posted that magazine picture, I was like, I need to figure out how to leverage this into attracting people to coaching. You know, like as from my business mindset, I'm like, how am I going to get people to want to coach? Because I could get people to want to do the workouts with me, but pushing myself to kind of invite people to the coaching side of this is harder for me. So from a business aspect, that's something I struggle with. I don't want to go around and say, look what I made last week or this and that, because it's not what matters to me. And I also don't want to attract people who just want to make money. I want to attract people who are like me, who like get all emotional and like want to do this and help people. So I struggle with that. And anyway, she said under that, you need to remind people that you didn't wait till you were done to start coaching. She said that was exactly what she posted under it, Tanya. She said, you need to remind people that you started this in the beginning. And I did. I started sharing it on Facebook for accountability when I had 250 Facebook friends and nobody said anything nice on it. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because I did it just to make myself more accountable and to save $20 a month on my Shakeology. That was the only reason I did it. And then I was like, but people started saying, what are you doing? And I realized when I think back to how many people I talked into doing T25 that I probably could have had on my team now, I want to like slap myself upside the head, because I was like, oh my God, you have to do it. It's so great. Blah, 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 blah. And I hadn't even started. So really quick, let me interject one thing that Autumn said in the thing. Did I miss anybody?
Kim.
Kim, you do first.
So I did shift up and I was very burnt out by probably about this time. So I feel better about this program. I would say I'm at the farm right now at my parents', so I can't find her scale. So I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but I have checked like periodically and I really haven't seen the scale move. But I would say I just did like measurements and my muffin top is down. It looks like by 2 inches. I'm going to have to go back and look. It was 41 and now it's 39. So that was good.
That's awesome.
But my thighs, I think I went up maybe an inch or a half an inch or so. So I'm gonna have to look back at what my previous measurement was.
Awesome.
But I do think my butt and my thighs are lifting a little bit, so that's good. But like the program started, I was on vacation in Sedona, and both of my sisters, we have 3 new boys in the matter of like 6 weeks. So I'm in auntie mode, and I have been running to the farm on the weekends. So the weekends have not been good for me when it comes to working out and the whole eating situation. But it is helpful that I've been like looking at things in colors now, which is nice. So that's
Isn't
good.
that funny how that happens?
Yeah.
Like looking at, I always say that in the beginning. I was like, I see foods as colors now. I look at someone's plate and I'm like, dude, you have 4 yellows. What are you doing? You can't eat that.
Husband looks at me. It's like, what can you eat? And I'm like, I can eat anything. He's like, but what color can you eat right now?
What color? Yeah, I don't know if I have Daryl trained, but my kids know it. My kids know what they are. And Olivia will be like, Mom, isn't it funny that strawberries are purple and not a red? I'm like, yeah, that's kind of funny because they do go in that other one, don't they? Oh my gosh. I'm like measuring while you talk too. So now that I broke, because I couldn't take it anymore. 24.5, 25.5. Yeah. So I haven't done my pictures, but I can see already I have 2 inches off my waist, so that's good.
Awesome.
Yeah, but it wasn't, wasn't in peak condition. I'll tell you something. I did that DEXA scan. I don't know if you guys saw that I was doing that, which is like a double x-ray, like body scan. And if you want to be horrified about how you feel about yourself, let me tell you, because that put me in a mind funk for like, I really just wanted it for data. So I wanted to do it so I can really show what I did with this program in the beginning and the end. And I just kind of wanted to do it for curiosity, and because I'm like a science brain person and I like information and I like real proof, right? So at the end, if I've lost 0 pounds, but that body fat percentage has gone down 5%, then I can say, yes, like this is a good thing. But they print you out this picture of yourself with all the colors and the colors of muscle and the colors of fat. And so I'm seeing like this hyper colored, like Stay Puft Michelin Man image of yourself. And then it tells you how much pounds of fat you have, which is really interesting because if I want to say like, oh, I really only have X amount of pounds to lose, like I think I could only lose 5 or 6 or 7 pounds or 10 pounds, or the lowest I've ever been was 155. That was at my end of my 1 year. And then I kind of went up to 170. So like 15 pounds up, and I've kind of just marinated at 170 for like 2 years. So maybe if I do a refresh or something after a vacation, I look leaner and I lose a good 7 pounds, and that helps me like clean up my act. But then it just kind of gets me to where I like to just be. My body is really good at just chilling at homeostasis and like maintaining the status quo. And the other thing is with hammer and chisel, the first time I did it, I was up 8 pounds by the halfway point, and I did not have a bunch of inches lost. I was like mortified. And what I did was I actually went up a bracket in food. And by the end, I lost all those 8 pounds back. So I ended at the exact same thing I started at, but I had an inch less in each thigh. And if you ever see them, or maybe I could dig them out, but the side by sides of those, it was like a total non-surgical butt lift. I was so happy when I saw that, because that's my hardest area to change. So like I was dejected until I saw that. And then I was like, holy crap, I just lost an inch on each thigh. Yes. So you made it all worth it. The one thing, so I'm just going to go through, like I took notes on the stuff that Autumn talked about. So I'm just going to run through some of them. But I do want to say that like my previous experiences make me most excited for phase 2. And here's why. These movements, instead of like a single bicep curl or a single whatever, are about to get more complicated. They're going to become compound movements, which uses 2 muscle groups instead of 1. So instead of just a curl, you might do a squat and a curl. Instead of just like a butt lift. Oh, sorry, I gave you some butt crack. You might, oops, you might also, you know, you might also do like a push-up press with the lift. So things are going to change, and that's going to completely make your body go, whoa, what are you doing? And so it's going to shock it kind of, maybe in a good way. And the other thing is that those type of movements are what really get changed for my body. I don't normally see it in 4 weeks. And I've also been working out for a while. So having done programs like Hammer and Chisel and Body Beast, my body is familiar with these simple lifting movements. So I know from watching like what's coming up episode or whatever, my body is not familiar with all of those. And it hasn't done those in a long time. And I think that phase 2 is really where, I don't know about pounds, but as far as like how my body's going to change, that's where I'm most excited. This is where I see the best change happening in the next 4 weeks. And then the other thing I can say is like, I know I have not been near to perfect with my nutrition over the last month. Like there are people in that bigger group that are posting all the time that they're 100% on point and they've done nothing. And I just, it's possible. And it's definitely possible. And I know some of you might be doing that great at it, but for me, I definitely haven't. There's been times when I'm like, well, I don't know what my meal is right now, and I don't have my paper and I don't have my food with me, but I know I can always have a green, red, and a yellow, like in a combo. And it's kind of part of one of the meals. So I'll just grab that as my go-to. So at least it's like somewhat balanced. But then at the end of the day, when I look at my paper, I'm like, oh, the blue and the orange, those are what I missed. So, I mean, I know I haven't been perfect every day. And some things that don't fit in a colored container might have happened at some points too. So, I mean, we're human, but I think what's great is that still doing that, still seeing change in the right direction just shows you that if you can not be perfect. And my sleep schedule is wackadoodle. I did the first 2 weeks on plan E instead of, so for weight loss for me, I'm plan C. At 180 pounds, I fall in plan C. And 170 pounds, I fall in plan C. So there's a big window there where it wasn't going to change for me. My maintenance was F. And I was like, so I'm going to do the first 2 weeks at maintenance. And then when I saw I was an F, I was like, okay, maybe not all the way maintenance. So it's just like, that's a lot, dude. So I'll tell you that I really loved eating an E. It was great, fun. But I don't know if I shared in the group. I think I just shared it in our team page. But the reason I did that was because of my sleep schedule. And I was really, really, I don't know if anxious is the right word, but kind of almost convinced that I couldn't do the time nutrition. Or, you know, I was making these schedules and blocking out what areas I work and don't work, trying to wrap my head around it because I'm so visual. And I'm kind of a person who can't learn something until I'm in it and doing it. So I'm like a hands-on and like kinesthetic, like a visual learner. So to just kind of wrap my head around it mentally before we started was really kind of overwhelming and hard. So I just didn't want to have anything more on my plate besides figuring out how the nutrition worked, besides getting in the right foods and the right containers, and not worry about that I have a 36-hour day this day and I'm trying to eat in C. So I did it for 2 weeks, and then I switched when she told us we could, and I switched down to, so I'm supposed to be C and F, and I switched down to D. So I did a week, I did like 4 days at C, which was great. And I realized that I was really crabby. I was snapping at my husband and I was barking at my kids. And that's pretty normal for me, but more than normal. I was not my best self. So in saying that, what I want to say is like, you have to also keep your own goals in mind. So my goal is to achieve results and to lead you guys to your results while also not getting divorced. So like, or getting fired, right? And if I'm at work and I'm like, don't touch it, that's my apple. It's like, I have to eat right now because I haven't eaten in 3 hours and I'm going to eat my arm off. You know, I can't be with a patient and be like, will you hurry up? I was supposed to eat 45 minutes ago. So, like, you know what? I'm done. You know, I'll be back. I'm going to go eat my green and my red and my yellow. You sit on the toilet until I'm done. You know, like you lost your chance, your time's up. So it doesn't really work that way. So that was a choice I made. So I also did that knowing that might affect my results for the first month. And I need to remind myself, like, these are choices I made. So I can't expect, one thing you can't expect is the results from a program if you're not doing the things the program tells you to do. So a lot of people in the group are saying, well, I'm doing this, but I add an extra red after this, or I'm not using performance line, so I'm adding this in as my protein for my post-workout, and it's a regular protein powder. That is not the same thing as a BCAA recovered powder. You're just giving yourself an extra red. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So even changes like that aren't following the program. So my goal for the next phase is going to be to do it as tight as I can for the next 4 weeks. Now that the month one is over and I've got my head around the timing and I understand the meals and I have lots of ideas of what goes together and what doesn't. And sometimes like the accidental ones end up being some of your favorites. Like you're like, I only have turkey, grapes, and a green apple. Okay. You know, and then you're like, wow, this is a great salad. So sometimes those things are like our best, but that's going to be my goal, is to now do month 2 with these increased hard workouts and do it as best as I can. So think about what your goal is for this, and maybe afterwards you can share it in the group today, what your results are and your before and afters, and then what your goals are. I want to see everybody's, hopefully. And if you really can't share them in the group, fine. Be that way. You can send them to me. Okay, so what are my notes? Let's get through this so you guys can get on with your day, because otherwise I'll talk to you all day, because I don't have a life. So I'm like, ooh, adults. Adults to talk to. So, okay, just a couple tips for the upcoming week that I wrote. As far as workouts go, plan at least what I'm going to do. You know, this all coaching is me sharing what worked for me. But I'm going to plan an extra 15 minutes for every single workout this week, because I don't want to get frustrated. Every single workout the first week took me like 20 minutes longer than it should have. I had to stop. I had to watch her instructions sometimes. They would be done with the move and I was still figuring out how to get the damn bands on. So I would pause it and wait until I finished the move and got it right and experiment with it, get it. And then I'm like, okay, now I got it. And I do my 10 reps and then go push play. So just allow the extra time for yourself. Expect, like, on the calendar that you print, it actually tells you how many minutes they are, which is really nice. I always used to go on and handwrite that on there for myself so that I would know how many minutes I need on Thursday, you know, whatever. Be like, oh, I only have a half an hour and it's 35 minutes. I can't do it right now. So I'm just saying ahead of time for this week, if you want to, I just call it like preventative measures to avoid as much frustration as possible. I'm going to plan an extra 15 minutes in. And then, who in here has done a weightlifting program before with these kind of combo moves? Anybody? Some with your athlete stuff. So yeah, like hammer and chisel has them. So has anybody never really done weightlifting before?
Oh, like, are you just talking about like in just the moves that she's doing?
Not the exact moves, but just like using weights in like how she would do a squat and a press, or how you will be doing a leg lift with a, like using weights more complicated than say the fix or this first round.
I used to do powerlifting in high school. So
yeah, so you have some experience with it. So it might not take you as much to be familiar with it, or some of those things are going to be familiar. But for people that haven't, just really know that it's going to take some getting used to. But when you're doing those compound movements, it really uses your body way more effectively, and you'll get an overall burn that's way better also. So just be prepared to take a little extra time. Tips for the week. Okay, so we'll talk more about refeed, but you guys have seen refeed days coming. This week they are uploading a new, I know, right? So I listened to her and she said, in that video, she said, I'm allowing you chocolate, make the cookies, and I went and looked at my food list, and there's no chocolate, and there's no brownies, and there's no cookies. And I'm like, what is she talking about? And it says a pancake, 1 4-inch pancake. I'm like, well, whoop-de-whoop, you know, like all I want is a steak, and they're not putting that on the list. So I want my ribeye, but that's not going on the list. So one thing she said is that she didn't know they left that off, and oh my God, I can't believe it. And they're updating that this week. So they will have a new one on there. I'll put it in the group, but if you want to look on your own, we'll keep your eye on demand, and they'll put an updated list. They're recipes from Fixate, the cookbook. If you don't have it, you should get one, because I love it. But it's just nice to have the hard copy, but you do have it all in your on demand. So all of you have it really already. I just like real books. It's only like $15 or something, but it's nice. I let Olivia flip through it and pick out something she wants for dinner, and then, whatever. So that's kind of fun. And I like that every single recipe has not only the regular measurements. So if I share it or post it, I can say it's 300 calories and 12 grams of protein or whatever. I can also, every single recipe has a picture. So I know what it's supposed to look like. I'm not just reading a recipe and hoping it kind of turns out like what it's supposed to. And then for my kids, like, she's not going to read the titles and want to make grandma's tomato sauce, but she sees that pile of sloppy joes and she's like, ooh, those look good. So anyway, I like that every recipe has a picture too. So the best thing you can do, so just a couple points ahead of time that she made about refeed day, is that on refeed day, which is going to be every 2 weeks the rest of this time, you are going to, very exciting. And you'll notice that it's all, the order of the workouts changes now. So it's not AAA legs, total body core, whatever, all in the same order it was. They're going to shift a little. Refeed day is on Wednesday. It's always before leg day. The reason is, so that's why. So you're going to go into leg day the next day, having some like carb boost. Your muscles are going to be really rejuvenated and restored, which is the point of refeed day. So it's not cheat day, which is shove whatever you want in your face day. It's kind of like a calculated effort to put these more simple carbs in and restore the glycogen stores that your muscles keep on standby, so that they function better and they're able to really give you some boost and power, so that you don't start, because you might notice you start getting more tired after your workouts and things like that. Your body has depleted those glycogen stores. So this is going to kind of give you like an injection every Wednesday. And then the next day you have refeed days. Her big tip was, as much as we don't want to focus on like, oh, I can't wait till refeed day, you do need to look at it ahead, because the things that are on there, you want to make sure you have on hand. You don't want to wake up on Wednesday and be like, yay, today I get to make cookies, and then be like, oh, I have to bake chocolate chip cookies, and I don't have chocolate chips, and I don't have almond flour, and I don't, so the recipes are still kind of healthier sweet treats. So you need to make sure that you're prepared for what you're going to use for those yellows. If you've looked at the day, you get like, for me, at some meals, I get 2 yellows instead of 1. And then she also said, make sure you're picking the yellows off the refeed list. So don't just pick the regular ones. Huh?
Yeah. Because it's completely different.
It is. And it's going to be tempting. I think that what I'll see in that group is a lot of people bragging that they didn't cheat and being like, I had sweet potatoes for all my yellows today. I said, whatever. Your body needs this, and it's going to use it. Not only is it good for your actual muscles, but it's good for your mental state, because it's going to allow you help you from feeling deprived.
Right.
So try and plan to have a little more fun on that Wednesday, to relax a little bit, to do something, to have a dinner that maybe you've wanted to have, to get up and make pancakes a half hour earlier for your family for breakfast that maybe you wouldn't normally do, so that you can all have them together and enjoy it. And the people in your life can see that you're eating real food too. So that will be helpful. I mean, Olivia always says, hey mom, can you have this right now? But she said, do you want this now? And I'm like, no, I already had this today. I've already had enough fruit or something. I never am like, oh, I'm not allowed to eat fruit, or I'm not allowed to have this. It's like, oh, I already had a whole bunch of toast earlier. I can't have pancakes right now. I already had too much. I don't want her to think that anything is like off limits forever. I think that's unhealthy for not only for our kids to see, but also for our own mental state, because that's when that becomes something that's all you can think about, right? Like, I haven't had a pancake in 3 months. Well, I probably hadn't had a pancake in the last 2 years, honestly, until I started buying like Kodiak cake stuff, or I would make like the banana egg ones once in a while, but I mean a real pancake. But now that I know, if someone told me you can't have it for the next 80 days, I didn't have a drink for like a year between our last Beachbody trip and the next one. Apparently, someone always jokes to me that I only like go on the trips to be able to drink, but I just like my husband doesn't drink, and then I also work night shift. So what am I going to do? Come home in the morning after a long, hard day at work at 8 a.m. and have a cocktail with my 4-year-old? So it just doesn't really fit with my life. It's not that I don't drink, but so I've gone months and months and months without having one just because. And then if we go out on a date, I could have one. It's not that I can't just because he doesn't, but it's just like sometimes that, don't want to, or I don't go on a date for months, sadly.
Right.
But now you go like 80 days, then I can't have a drink. And how many people are like, God, what I wouldn't give for a margarita, Well, unfortunately, Autumn was saying because new leader conference for Beachbody was this weekend. All the new leaders are down on a Beachbody pays for your hotel, they pay for your trip, and you go down and you whatever, and you get to train all weekend. And Autumn came and led the workouts with them, and she put them through cardio flow together. So she killed them off, which is awesome. And she said people were coming up to her at the party. She said this coach came up to her and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm loving 80 Day Obsession. It's so awesome." And she had a glass of wine in her hand, and she goes, "What's that?" And she said, "Well, it's a glass of wine. It's the weekend. I could do that." And Autumn's like, "No, you can't. There's no wine written into this program. So just know if you're doing that, you're not doing the program 100%. And that's also your results, Okay, refeed day. We'll talk more about it as it gets closer, but we'll be sharing all the goodies. One thing that I wanted to say about it is, remember, you get these every 2 weeks. Something that's hard for me is I want all the things. Like, do I make brownies or do I make chocolate chip cookies? And when I make them, my problem personally is that I'm going to want, let's say we get 4 of them a day or whatever, I'm going to want to eat all 12 cookies that I made. I have the moderation problem, and it's kind of like opening the gateway, like the floodgates are open. I get to have all this stuff, and I think A, I'll feel like crap the next day if I do that, and B, that's not really what refeed day is intended for. And I have to remember that there'll be another one in 2 weeks. So maybe I'll do the brownies this week and I'll do the chocolate chip cookies next week, in 2 weeks, and kind of pick what you're going to pick your poison and then embrace it. Enjoy what it is and stop thinking about all the other things on the list you might have wanted to have but can't. Maybe if you have kids, make it fun. I might ask Olivia, which one of these would you rather make? And kind of take the pressure off myself and be like, what do you guys want to have? And that way I know they'll eat some of the extras and then I won't have. But whatever, just don't worry about it yet, but just kind of keep it in the back of your mind that it's coming and that you don't need to have it in and then don't skip it also. Don't think that you're doing yourself any favors going, I'm not going to do it. And then 3 weeks from now, you're really pissed off that you didn't have that cookie and you think, well, if I had refeed day, I could have that cookie, so I might as well have it now. It's not the same thing. Okay. She just said photos and measurements on rest day, obviously. Do them first. She said, if you're like her, you want to do it, get up, go to the bathroom, and then weigh and measure and do your photos. But always do it on a rest day. So even measuring yesterday night, I did a quick thigh measurement, which is probably where my tape measure was, if I can remember where I did that. And not yesterday, the day before. And my thighs were a ½ inch bigger because it was leg day. So all that blood volume goes into your muscles. And so if you're doing it after a workout, any kind of workout, but especially like a heavy lifting workout, you are going to be more jacked up. One thing we did in a challenge with Siggy once was we did our arm measurements before and after. It was like a goal to see who could get the biggest pump. And we did beast up arms off on demand. And my bicep was 2.5 inches bigger around after that workout. I was like, So, I mean, that's the same, goes back to the thing before the show where people are pumping with weights and back. That's why. So you get all that blood volume in there. So if you want to be, the biggest thing with your weights, I think it was Brittany that I was mentioning this to yesterday, is like, with your measurements, is it doesn't matter as long as it's consistent. So don't, like, for instance, on my bicep, she was saying one thing she does is she does this method on her pinky and her thumb, because her hands obviously are not going to change size. So she'll go like from the cap of her shoulder to the middle, and that's where she measures, right where the pinky comes out. So she'll do that. That way she always knows it's always the same. And she does the same thing with her thighs. She says she puts the pinky on the kneecap, and then that's where she measures her thigh. So if that's what you've been doing, keep doing it. If it's not, don't change it now. Just keep doing what you're doing. The other thing is, if you measure yourself, I can show you when you do. This is a mistake I made in the beginning. So you can measure your thigh here, bending like this is 24.5. And when I stand up, it goes all the way to 25. Because, yeah, it's a difference because I'm just standing up straight and the muscle changes. So are you standing up every time, or are you kind of like bent over like this, you know? I saw people in her video, the way they measured the guy was she had him put his leg up and he measured it that way. And to me, that just added an inch to my leg when I did that, because that's not how I've ever measured my thighs. So if I started doing it that way, I would be dejected, like, oh my God, I gained 1.5 inches in each thigh. So just make sure that what you're doing is consistent for you. If you want to change it, then just change it and stick with that from now on. If you have like a longer fitness journey ahead of you, I'm just going to keep doing it the way I've always done it, which is to measure at the thickest part of my thigh. When you do your hips, you're going around the fullest part of your, yes, that includes your butt. And then the other thing people don't realize is with your chest, you're like, what does that mean that my boobs are shrinking? So you're going around the fullest part of your bust, but what that is meant to do is to encompass your lats right here. So as you're doing push-ups and this is getting stronger, that's where you get that lat muscle, that flank that shows. And that's bigger. So I'm going to strip a little, so don't get offended. But when you're doing competing, one thing they teach you is to like, so you can do this and show your back this way. I don't know, where's straight. Can you see it? Okay. So, or what you do is you bend forward, you loosen up and then you flare them out like that. And they get way bigger out here. And so that's the part that they're trying to show to make you have that V shape. So those muscles are part of that bust measurement. So that's coming into there. And so that's, if it goes up, the point is that that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that means you build some muscle there. So anyway, your boobs didn't grow or necessarily shrink. I know personally mine can't get any smaller. So, okay, they're done gone. What else do we have? Okay. Oh, so people are asking about the formula and why it's different. So now that you've built lean muscle mass, you need more calories. Your body is burning more calories. So we want you to be in a deficit, but not so far deficit that you're putting your body like into a bad place. So before we were at minus 750, and now we're at minus 600 or 550, something like that. Huh? I can't remember. Where is it? Yeah, minus 550. So so it's 200 more calories basically than you were getting before, any way you slice it. So there's weight loss. Yours stayed the same?
Mine stays the same.
Mine stays the same too. So like I said, for 180, which is what I started at, to 170. So I knew ahead of time that unless I lose more than 10 pounds, I wasn't changing. Because I'm compulsive, and I sat there and I said, okay, what if I'm at 175 at the end? What if I'm at 170 at the end? What if I'm at 165? Oh, I go down. Don't get to 165. If you see 165, eat a donut. I don't want less food. So anyway, I wanted to kind of see what it would take for me to have to switch. So I ran a bunch of numbers through because that's me and I'm weird. And then there's other factors. She said, like, let's say you have done. Yeah, okay, good. I'm not alone. She said there's other factors like your stress level and your sleep. So if your stress level has increased a lot, then that might be affecting your results also. So if you're one of those people that's dejected and is like, I've done everything perfect, but except you haven't been getting all your sleep or whatever, that might be a problem. So if you're really, and then she kind of was like, got her bitchy resting face on and was like, frankly, if you gained weight and you followed this program, then something's wrong with you and you need to go to the doctor, because if you've just gained and you've actually been doing everything, sleeping, eating the time nutrition, eating at the right times of day, eating the right amount total, and doing these workouts, then you shouldn't be like 10 pounds higher. You know what I mean? So figuring out what category you're going to be in going forward. Weight loss and maintenance. Well, so the thing about switching up a category or bumping up one is that it's ultimately like it's not 1,000 more calories, you know, it's a couple hundred. And those couple hundred calories are made of good foods. So, and it's also proportionate. So if you're feeling hungry and tired and moody at the one that you're at, let's say you're in C and you've been at C, or you're in B and you've been at B, and you just feel like always thinking about hungry or always tired, not tired like, God, I did a good workout today, but like nodding off at work because I just feel exhausted by 3 p.m., that means you're not getting enough food. So know the difference and know your body enough. And if you aren't sure, ask me and we'll talk about it, or put it in the group or whatever, or send me a message. But, you know, being extremely tired, extremely moody, or extremely hungry. Not, oh, I'm kind of hungry today, but I still have 2 meals left. You know what I mean? There's a difference to how you feel at the end of the day. Like you're like, God, I did not get enough food. One problem a lot of people had in the group in the beginning was feeling like they had too much food and wanting to switch themselves down because they are so used to eating at a deficit. Also, most of us, if we've ever dieted in our life, know that dieting is miserable and you're hungry and you're starving and you don't like it. And so since they're doing this and they don't feel hungry, miserable, and starving, they feel like automatically they're eating too much food. And that's not the case. And if you go up a category, or if you think, well, I'm in C, but I've always been in A and I should probably be in A. I've always been told to eat only 1,200 calories a day. That does not mean you only need to eat 1,200 calories a day. That means that you were eating too little calories, period, at that point. And if you were losing weight, that's great, but it was an unhealthy way to do it. And it also means that you weren't doing workouts like this. So you are now, and you're doing this program now. So eat your damn food. Okay. So she said, if you feel like you have had too slow of weight loss, and not talking about the rant I did, but like that you've done everything right and you're just a little hungry, but not miserable hungry, but just a little hungry, but you don't feel like you've seen the results that you thought you would, and you have been doing everything right, you probably want to go up a plan. So you probably want to go from C to D and try it for a minimum of a week. She prefers 2. So your body probably just needs a little more fuel, and it's holding on to things because you're keeping it really close to what it needs. So it's like, okay, we better just hang on. So if you're really not seeing the changes, don't be afraid to go up from C to D or B to C or whatever, and try it for 2 weeks. You might notice like right away, like I did, when I went from C to D, it's not that much different. I think there's like, you know, there's like basically 1 extra almost of everything, but still no extra blue and orange, of course. But there's just, all that is like 1 more red, 1 more yellow, 1 more purple, and 1 more green. So basically 1 more set, and that's split through the whole day. So it's just kind of there. Like my after workout meal, I get 2 reds, which I love. So that little bit of change made a huge difference in how I feel. So on my day off, when I'm home, I feel like C is plenty of food for me, because I'm home and I'm up 10 hours and I sleep a whole night, and C is plenty. And I could probably even eat B on that day and be fine. But on those work days where I'm at work 12 hours and then I come home and I'm up 12 hours with my kid, I was miserably starving. She does not want us to, I want them to tell me to eat in D or E on my work days and eat in B or C on my days off, but they won't say that. I tried. I really wanted them to get them to tell me that I was unique, and that my unique schedule and my unique problems caused for me to have, that would be the easy solution for me. Oh, I'll just eat all the food on work days and a little less on my home days. Because on my home days, I honestly almost am struggling to get it all in, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's like 8 o'clock and I haven't even had my last meal, or my last 2 meals I've had happen, because I'm not as conscientious of it. Whereas on my work days, I'm so hungry, I can tell it's been 2.5 hours and it's time to eat. Like my body is telling me to get some food. So anyway, they did not recommend that as much as I wanted them to. She would rather you go up one plan and just maintain it. So that's what I did. So if that's you, or like Brianne, I think you were kind of thinking about going up, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure, but yeah.
What?
Yeah, well, it's like I've seen some results, but it's like I remember when I did ham and chisel, I think I went up too, just because. But that I was in like A then. It was
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't think it would
I might
hurt.
do 2 weeks and then reevaluate.
Yeah. And you could do it either way. You could go up for 2 weeks, or you could do 2 weeks where you're at and then reevaluate. The point is, I think mostly is that eating up one category for 2 weeks is not going to put your results in the pisser for the whole program, right? So if you want, and if you feel like maybe something might change, don't go up a couple containers. Don't do this. Just go up a bracket and try it, but try it for the whole, at least a week. Don't do it for like 2 days and then think, because like for me, when I was on C, my 2 days off, I felt great. And so if I judged off just those 2 days, I would have thought I was fine. And then I would be locked into being miserable the other 6 days a week, or whatever, 5 days a week. So just if you feel like you're going to change, start it today for the next phase. Start it and do it for at least a whole week. And if you're not sure and you just want to try it. But because we're eating clean, good foods, it's not going to adversely affect you that much. She said, if you have weight to lose, we're talking like 20 pounds or more, you probably do want to be eating in weight loss or one bracket above weight loss. But if you're within 5 to 10 pounds of your goal, then you probably want to be eating in maintenance, because you're still going to be seeing what your goal is and get a couple pounds lost over the course of the program. So if you're within 5 to 10 pounds of your goal, eat in maintenance. But also remember, that's 5 to 10 pounds of your goal for the end of the program, not for the end of the next week or 2 weeks. So like, I didn't lose that 5 to 10 pounds, so clearly I ate too much food. Okay. She said, and the other reason why with me while I went up, she said it's usually a 2 bracket difference. So if you're in B, then it'd be C, D for weight loss and maintenance. For me, I was in C and F. C, D, E, F, 3 different. So just the weird way what I weigh now put me in that bracket. And so going up, I feel like F is a little extreme. I'd be happy there. But I do have weight loss goals, and now that I have my head around it, so I'm going to be eating in D for this phase. 1 above my weight loss, which is still 2 below my maintenance. So that's my plan. And
So
anything?
doing calculations for the 550, like it bumped me up to C now. Is that still weight loss or is that maintenance?
If you subtracted your weight, that's your weight loss. So if you do the formula,
Okay.
So for like 175 times 11 is 1975. Then you add 600 in, because that's your calorie burn or whatever. That's your maintenance right there.
Okay, but then subtract the 550, and then
if you subtract the 550, that's your weight loss. So you just stop at step 1, and that would be your maintenance. So if if you're one of those lucky people who did the formula and you ended up a bracket, do it. That's what I would say. Okay. Because I really think that your body's going to respond better to having that little bit of fuel for a reason, And if you do it for 2 weeks and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I can barely get another bite. She had someone say in there, like, they can't get all their food in. They're eating for weight loss already, and they just can't get their food in. By the end of the day, they're coming up, they have a whole another meal left. It's just way too much food. And she said, then you need to work harder at getting your food in. She said that if you can't, she said, suck it up and learn to eat. She said it was a stupid thing. Yeah. She's like, if you can't eat your weight loss calculation, then you just need to try harder and do better. So that is good. And by the way,
Yeah.
Autumn, who is 109 pounds, eats in C.
That's
So
crazy.
that's her maintenance. That's where her maintenance level sits for her. So yeah, so once you become a fuel fat burning machine or whatever, and you're in your best shape and you're whatever, then your body is just like a little furnace and it's cooking along. And I mean, maybe like on leg day, I have my post-workout recover and my fruit, and I can't even make my next meal fast enough because I'm like already hungry. And on the other days, like I have that and it's kind of like a mini meal. And I'm like, oh, that'll tide me over for a while. And I can go do something and come back in a half hour, an hour and get my next meal ready. But on the leg day, I'm like, where's my food? And the other day I like shoveled in my meal, like almost like at the simultaneously with the recover and the fruit. And I went in there and I tagged the nutritionist in the group and I was like, how bad is this that I just did this? Because I ate my chocolate recover. I ate a whole pear. And then I ate my whole next post-workout meal all at once because I just couldn't even handle it. And he's like, we'd prefer you wait and spread it out a half an hour at least, but it's not the end of the world if you do it. And I was like, okay, good. Nothing I can do about it now, but I was just curious how bad that was. If I do that every leg day, fine. But yeah, that's your body, noticing. And then topics I wanted to cover: tired versus exhaustion. As far as picking out what level, we kind of touched on that already. Just know the difference. Exhaustion is not good. You need to be able to function. You need to be able to chase your kids. Aren't we all doing this, at least most of us, so that we can improve our daily life? So don't put yourself in like a lot of competitors do, where they're miserable and they want to slit their wrists, and they live that way for 4 months of cutting before their show date. And people get divorced over this. People's marriages break up over this. They can't stand being around their spouse when they're competing. People who compete all the time, if they have a spouse, their spouse either loves being walked on or is the most understanding person in the world. So seriously, it's very hard on a relationship, even just doing one show. Like I had to say to Daryl, we're starting to cut week, and this goes on for 6 weeks. And I'm sorry in advance for every time I bite your head off, every time I this and every time I that, because it might happen, and it sure did. So just know the difference between being tired versus exhaustion and picking appropriately. But I think I beat that like a dead horse. And then the other thing was doubling. Someone said, what if I'm 4 workouts behind? And she was like, then you finish your 4 workouts and start in 4 days. Yeah. Like, she's like, don't cram 4. She goes, someone said, what if I have 4 workouts to get in this weekend? Don't cram them all in one day. That's not the point. And, I see this a lot in my regular challenge group. People will say like, oh, I missed Tuesday and I missed Thursday, so I did a double on Friday and Saturday, and now I'm caught up. The benefits to your body are from consistency over time. And I can't say it enough. And that matters with your nutrition, and that matters with your workouts, and that matters with your water. That's another thing. If you aren't getting your water, make sure you're doing that. But the consistency over time is what's getting the results. So make sure that you are sticking with that all the way through. And that's why if you slip up or mess up a little bit this day, it doesn't matter as much this day. You know what I mean? Because overall, it will balance out. Slipping up meaning having something you shouldn't have, or a bite of something not going to Red Robin and having bottomless fries. So there's a difference there too. But anyway, that's really all I have, unless anyone else has any other questions or anything. No. I just saw some people dropping like flies.
Okay.
I must have hit my limit. It's 9:10. Oh shit! Sorry, guys. So I'll finish my measurements. I'm as soon as Olivia Princess gets out of bed, I'll put on my 2 small bikini and take my stupid pictures. I know that I'm not going to be that happy with how they look right now, but that's my end goal that I'm looking for. So if I'm not happy with it, it's probably because what I want to see is the end goal. And what I need to just be happy with is where I'm at right now. And I hope you all can do the same thing. Yeah. Everybody on here, everybody in this group has had some sort of results. Yeah. Whether it's physical or mental or whatever, sticking with the containers when you haven't before, the fact that you're working out 5 times a week or more instead of like 0 or 2 or 3. For me, like I've been working out every day for as long as I can remember, other than like the rest days. I've been doing it. So, but I haven't put as much focus and intention into it. I usually can get the workouts down in the first week or two, and then you're repeating them till the program's over. I have to pay attention. I can't blare the music so loud that I can't hear her. I have a little binder that I just made, which just means I opened it and I hole punch things. So I have my plan D ready to go right there, which is what I've been eating on the last week. So I'm just going to stay there. I have my food list there because I wanted to be able to pull it out. I'll be changing it. And when she said, I don't know why they didn't add the simple things. Why didn't those make it on there? The cheat days. I'm like, where? There's 2 pages. There's not a single space left on them. Anyway. And then I have my workout sheets. If you didn't see the ones that I put in the group that have all 4 weeks on one page, I think that's way better than the ones Beachbody made that's in your on demand. So I would print those out personally, because then each week I look at, like, here was leg day. I can see exactly what I did the other day, and I don't have to waste as much time trying to figure it out. And also I've found through experimentation and cussing that some workouts, the short bands work better on some moves than the long bands. So what I wrote is I write I don't know if you can see it, but it says BL and GL. So blue long, green long, or BS and GS, green short, blue short. So whatever code you use. And then if I know that by the end I can do it and go up one, I do an arrow up. And if I do down one, I do an arrow down. And if I'm going to keep it the same, and like I barely was able to finish the move, I just put like a dash. I'm like, whatever you do, don't add on more next week. So sometimes I write this face on there. And that just means like, holy crap, don't, you barely made it. So, and I'll write notes.
Amanda, do you have one of those with the 4 on the same page for the next phase?
Yes, the file I put in there is all 3 phases.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So when I printed it, so I have the phase 1 in the back now, because when I finished leg day or whatever, I just put them to the back. But so yeah, there's phase 2. So the top is orange, the top here was green. So each week, and then I think the next one is like blue or something. So all 3 are on there. The moves have the same names, although what the moves are might change for that phase. And then what I'll do before I press play on booty day is I'm going to go 20 pounds. I'll write it off onto the side of the first one here. So like glute bridge, the last time I used the blue and a green, then I'll write blue long, green long here to remind myself where I was. And I will either start this first week tomorrow. I'll either start there or a step down from there. If it's a weighted move and I was doing 20 pounds last week, I'd probably do 15 pounds this week, because I drop it down until I know I can master that move. Right. Because the move is going to change. So if you did 20 pounds on this like back step move here last week, that doesn't mean that you'll be able to do 20 pounds once she adds a whole nother, like, God knows what she'll have us do, stand on our heads or whatever with it. So for me, I always aim just a little lower the first week and make sure that I have the move down. So I want to know what I was at last week. And if you have it just written off to the side, it'll just help your workout go smoother. And that's why the separate sheets are stupid. I hate it. They do them for every program, and every program I make new ones. So, because I don't have time to flip back and forth and find the other paper and see what I did last week and whatever. And then
you should show them yours, and then maybe they'll buy them from you, or it'll.
Yeah. You know what? They some people, just so you know, that's a resource on Etsy, sell like planners and stuff where it's all printed in there, and it's like $15 and they'll send it to you, and you can put your whole meal plan in there. And but you know what? It was for like plan. If I had done the beginning, I would have had to order plan E1, a plan C1, a plan B1. So to me, these ones that I also have in the group that have 7 days all the way across, these are gold to me. I just keep the one I'm working with on the inside cover where I can pull it out. And then when I'm hungry, I'm like, oh crap, grab my sheet. And I kind of just had, some days aren't all the way filled out. I scratched it out. Or the next day I just ate. I just look at what did I have for that meal on the other day, and I just repeat it because it sounds good. Like the toast and eggs thing I do a lot. The salad with pears and chicken and feta. I do, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot. So that meal. So anyway, but if I'm trying something new, it's nice to work it out and figure it out. Or when I'm planning my work food, the days that are all written out are usually work days. And I get it done ahead, and then I just make it all in the morning, and that's my food ready to go. So I find these really helpful because then you can refer back to. Plus, I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't want to use 80 pages of paper to plan 80 days of food. I don't understand that. So it's just way better than having a big one. So anyway, I have my sheets, and when I start so there's my meal plan, so I can reference it and on the go if I need. I do have this printed out on my fridge, and I keep it behind the workout calendar, but I also just have one in here for speed reference. And then my workout sheets are there. And then in the back is kind of my eating plans that I just had printed because I wasn't sure what I was going to be in. Like the first time I thought I was going to be in B, and then I was like, oh, that's not, hell no. So I have them back here. There's just extra miscellaneous stuff. So then I can put what I'm done with for phase 1 in the back and move the stuff for this phase to the forward. And then make sure that you're filling out thingy or bobber. Well, not this thing, but the one that has your measurements. Somewhere on here. We had one where you write down what you weigh and what your inches are and whatever. Which I've moved around. Make sure you're filling that out so that you don't lose it. I can't tell you how many times I've had people come to me and tell me, confess to me, or be upset and say, I wish I had measured, or I wish I would have deleted those pictures, or I know I told you I took those pictures, but I didn't. Or they say, I took those pictures, but I couldn't stand it. They were so depressing, I deleted them. So if that's you, send them to me and I will save them. I have no life. No one else will see them. No one goes through my phone. I'm not going to put them on TMZ, but, you know, but then they're there. And if you have your before and afters from today and you're not seeing what you want to see, or you want a second opinion, either put it in the group or send it to me, or if you want help making a decent side by side. But I want to see you guys post them in the group and celebrate your successes and be happy with what you've accomplished. And I hope you feel a little more ready to go for the next phase now. Oh shoot, and I didn't do the drawing and half the people are gone now. Well, fine. Let's find out. You guys have to remind me who was on here, or I'll have to go back to the recording and look. I need a paper. Is my butt showing again? Sorry. I'm married to a plumber, you know. Okay, let me write it down before I forget. So I had Christina, Kim, Brittany, Brianne, and Cindy. And that was it, right? Was it 5 or 6?
I think it was just us.
And then me, maybe I'm 6. All right. I don't get to be in the drawing. I kind of want to put myself in the drawing for the pineapples. Just because. And I got, somebody is supposed to be getting that tank top. The pineapples tank. It's on the way to somebody's house. And I didn't say, and now I just have to wait because I committed to not saying. So now I'm like, maybe they got it and they just don't give a crap and they don't want to say anything. Hopefully whoever gets it will do a nice big post on Facebook about how awesome their coach is.
Or maybe they're like me and forget to check their mailbox for like a week.
Maybe. It's possible. All right. All right, I'm trying to think of new ways to keep us active and engaged and not quitting, but I don't feel like I had to talk anybody off the ledge. Ow.
I really like this. I think this is good. I think we should do this again at the end of phase 2.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think that we should just have a big party on the last refeed day at my house and everyone has to travel because everyone can bring one fixate dessert recipe and we can all just do that. Okay, let's draw leggings.
We're all going to Indy. Me and Tara are going to Indy.
Are you going to? I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Yay!
Yeah, me and Tara signed up for Indy.
AJ, me, Brianne was, but it's kind of might have to go out. I hope not, because she her husband, they just got his citizenship and they had to travel to Mexico and they had to pay big lawyer fees. He's been here like 8 years. It's very, very, very exciting. But it costs her a lot. And so she might have to juggle her budget. I hope not. So hopefully Brianne, Andrea, so yeah, should have a good group. I think we had like 6 of us last year, 7. And I rented a house and we all stayed in it together. But this year, I don't know if people want to stay together or not. I haven't really ironed it out. It did cost me like a lot of money. So we'll see where my business is at here by summer, but I hope so. It's been really fun. And then I got them all like little Coach bags. Get it, Coach? Yeah. Like I always am giving them like, I like to give them gifts. So I set them all up with little snack packs for the week and little notepads, and they all got personalized Coach jewelry and yeah, not Beachbody Coach, but like Coach. So I don't know. Every coach has their thing that they do for their team, but I am a Coach person, so I got them all Coach bags. Okay, let's do this. So you'll get something. You're going, Kim. I'm excited. Everyone should go. It's so fun. And if you don't think that you believe in like what we do or our mission, is I could not pour my heart and soul into this for any other company like I do, because they really care about people and I just love it. Plus you learn so much. Okay. Cindy gets leggings.
Yeah.
Yay, Cindy, who's not here anymore. She should have to forfeit. She didn't want to give up 3 hours of her morning to talk to me. Okay, let's do a couple of the Ulla things too. Brianne and Kim. Brianne and Kim, you both get, Kim's on here, right? Yes, still?
Yes.
What? I have black, white, pink, green, and another pink.
I am not picky.
Okay, well, it says, I wonder if they all have the message. It says, you got this on it. I'm like, oh. So, okay, so we'll give one to Kim. The leggings are for Cindy. I'll be buying more little fun prizes. I was in a shop last night. It was not good. So I didn't finalize anything yet, but maybe on payday I will. Okay, and then Brianne, I'll send her one. I will send her the white one. Okay. All right. Yay. Thank you guys. Hopefully you tune in for the next one and then share your results in the group for the people that couldn't be here. And then I will upload this call for them to watch, although I don't know that they really want to watch all of it, but hopefully they will get the info they need in a more organized fashion next time. Or they'll tune in live. They'll learn they missed out on the party. All right. Have a good day, you guys. Don't forget to roll and release.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.